In upstate New York, in the middle of the triangle made up by Interstate 90, Interstate 88, and Interstate 81 is the Charles E. Baker State Forest. It is 9,000 acres of state land used for recreation and includes a 130-mile multi-use trail system. Off of Route 12, there are signs for the Brookfield Trail System. So it's not too hard to find them. There are more trail signs inside the system. We're on XL Road on Route 12. So, we are walking around the Baker State Forest, also known as the Brookfield Trail area. And there are a lot of big open spaces like this along the roads that I'm sure you could camp on with a major motorhome. But it's a beautiful forest. It's a very large state forest, and there's a lot of stuff here that would be fun to play in. If there's lots of mountain bike trails, lots of hiking trails, horse trails. It's all very multi-use. It's hilly, so it's a workout for your horse or for your mountain biking. Not too bad on trails. Trails are pretty easy. Nothing really steep or really extensive. They just put in this culvert, or they redid this culvert. Apparently they've done a lot of work on areas where the road might wash out. We'll tour some of the campsites. There's equestrian campsites, which right now are not full. They're about half full of horse trailers and horses. If you like horses, they're pretty friendly people, and it's a fun thing to stop and talk to the horses and bring them a carrot or an apple or something. So, all right, we're gonna get back on the road here. I'm getting wet. I stuck the signs up in the corner there so you could see what they said as you enter these areas. This is the horse assembly area where people would assemble to go on rides. I guess most of the trails come out of this area. There were fifth wheels, travel trailers, motorhomes, horse trailers, utility trailers. There was everything in this area. Right ahead of us is room for probably almost 50 horses. Stables, or not stables, but pens. And then to the left of us there was a little pavilion. Ahead of us here is campgrounds that are open, aren't being used, and over the right there's more picnic tables and fire rings. The campgrounds, the camp sites particularly, are large in this area because they're made, I guess, to take a horse trailer and a car and horses. We'll go back down the road to the other campsite. Just up the road from this is the actual campgrounds. And this is big. I don't know how many spaces there are in here. There must be 25 to 30. There were a lot of people here, but it's about half full. And they seem to be friends. I mean, they're crowded together because they're all friends. And there were trailers with awnings out that had 10 or 15 people under them, and they weren't all standing at one fifth wheel there. But I waved, talked to some of them. They were friendly. Here's the porta-johns. They're great big handicap porta-johns. Nice and clean, chemical toilets. They weren't full or anything like that. I don't know, the state must put some money into taking care of this place. But this is just a quick tour around. There's 4 loops to this campground. And so that's why I say there must be 30 sites at least. And there's a lot of horse areas for the horses to be. There's I think that's a little water area there. There's no potable water, but there's water for the horses. There are wells and pumps. That little ramp on the side is a handicap wheelchair ramp to mount a horse, so you can get up on above the horse and just slide over onto it. There were quite a few tent campers over in one area that I figured they probably weren't with the horses, or maybe they were. Maybe they were just camped away from the horses. This is the typical road. It's just a really nice, smooth dirt road. The GoPro just is mounted so that it rattles. I don't know why. I gotta fix that. It's not a bumpy road. It's not a potholed road. It's in real good shape. They have been doing a lot of work on it, widening it in places, putting in culverts to make sure they don't flood. I don't know if it had flooding last year problems or something, but there were a lot of those. Saw a lot of horses out on the trails, of course. We are at the Cherry Ridge camping area, and this is site number 9. It's a nice site. It's a big, long back-end site, easily 40 feet. Then there's a little overhang covering kiosk to show you some of the stuff. So I guess here's the layout of the campsites. That's number 9 down there, and then you go up this road and you got 1, 2, 8, 4, 5 up there. So there's 9 campsites on. And they even have rules for a boondocking campsite. Pretty good. It's been a dry year. That's a workout. We're going down the campsite road, walking. Under the trees, it's not raining so bad. But these are nice campsites. There's Caesar's overlooking at number 2. And there's a picnic table way in the back. And a nice fire ring. This is every bit as good as you would get in a Adirondack campsite. And these are clean. These are not all destroyed and littered like some campsites at some places. This looks in pretty good shape. Here's number 3 on the other side. It's a little bigger as that. It's a lot wider. And there seems to be a trail going through to the other side. And we can see through over there our campsites. The other campsites on the other side of the loop. We decided to drive around because the rain was getting pretty bad. And you can see the campsites and the campers in their places. There's 3 people here. 3 campsites in use here. We found the bathrooms halfway around the loop, the camping loop. They're your typical bathrooms. Don't look too bad. The campsites you can see are really deep. I think they're must be designed for motorhomes or horse trailers or something, but they're really deep and really good sized. I was impressed with these things. We are driving on the back roads. We're on Truck Trail 7 on the map, and it's pretty bumpy. I don't know how shaky this will be. We'll see if it can be image stabilized in the editing, but there's a lot of trails, a lot of roads, and the roads are really good roads. They're not bad. They're a little bumpy for the car, for the camera anyways, but they're good roads. They're working on them pretty seriously as far as getting drainage and smoothness to them. We've met a lot of horses. We're looking for camping site number 3 or 4, I guess, actually. It's way on the other side. One side is the Brookfield horse trails, and then the other side is for everything else. But of course, all the trails are multi-use. You can ride horses, you can ride bikes. Haven't seen too many bugs. I noticed the horse riders you may see had sticks in the halter of the horses. I think that's to keep the flies away from the horse's eyes. So there might be some deer flies like there are everywhere. That's Truck Trail 3. We're on Truck Trail 7. Hang on, I gotta look at the map. This obviously looks like a place people have camped, and where I've pulled the car in, there's probably room for a small pop-up, but there's no designation for this as a campsite. There's some ripped up poster paper on the ground here, so maybe it was posted not to camp here anymore or something, but we'll see if we can find the actual campsite. Here is a large trashed area that people obviously are using for target practice. It's pretty gross, and you know, it just hits me is that gun owners should really get some responsibility in their lives, because you don't need to trash your shooting area and leave a lot of beer cans and beer cases and six-packs around, because I don't think it tells the rest of the world that you're responsible with guns, because gunpowder and alcohol don't really mix very well. There's a little off-road. Let's see what that is. Yep, this is it. This is a combination camping area, picnic area, parking area. So you can do it all here. And it's apparently some trails are here. So this is on Truck Trail number 5, between Truck Trail number 1 and number 2. And that's the tour through the what? What's this called? The Charles E. Baker State Forest. 9,000 acres.